everybody. Welcome to If These Walls Could Talk. I'm Wendy Stuart, and I'm sure you're all wondering where Tim is. I always make up things like the mothership came and got him or something, but he's actually off acting. Yes, we're actors. That's what we do. So Tim is not with us today. However, I'm going to have two amazing guests with me, so I'm keeping good company. And today the girls are taking over. But before we even get into that, I love to tell you about my week, right? I want to give a shout out to the amazing Hannah Q Dance Company. I had the wonderful experience of being the MC for their show in the woods. Let me tell you, there's nothing like seeing dancers perform modern dance in the woods with a terrific choreographer, Hannah Q. And I think what was so special about it, it's like Shakespeare, right? It's like Midsummer Night's Dream. You think of a wood nymph is going to come out from somewhere, and it's a dancer. It was just a really gorgeous experience. And now I am back in New York City after a weekend of woods and hiking and just taking in the fall and having a great time. And of course, you can find me at the Explorers Club. I will be there this Friday night. I know a lot of people want to know what goes on at the Explorers Club. We just got done with Climate Change Week, and we have all the people that are involved in conservation, pushing the boundaries of land, sea, air, and space at the club. And we have wonderful lectures. And I'm there. I give tours there, and my tours are like no one else's because let's just say what I don't historically know, I like to embellish. So I am thrilled to have you here with me today. I am here at the infamous Pangea, and a big shout out Thursday, October 9th, which is tomorrow night. My God, I don't know where the time goes, right? 7 p.m. we have Peter Callow and Ann Carpenter doing the music of Joni Mitchell, Paul Simon, Carly Simon, and James Taylor. Okay, how much do we love all four of them? That was the music that I grew up on. And Peter Callow, of course, played with Carly Simon for years. So right here at Pangea, that's tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. Be there or be square. And I just want to give a shout out, because this show is nationwide, to all of our friends in Florida who have barely recovered from Hurricane Helene. Just sending best wishes your way. Stay safe. This is climate change. This is the real deal for any climate deniers out there. I don't even know what to say. This is actually happening. And for all of us, there's wonderful organizations that are very legit to donate to in Asheville, North Carolina, and in Florida. You know what? Even if you only have $10, if everybody can do a little bit to help people out there, just keep what's going on in your prayers. We're blessed up here in New York today. It's a beautiful day. So I am completely grateful. And who else I'm grateful for? My guest today, before I give their name, in the words of John Pitero, who interviewed them, called them a blast of post-punk, folks say harmonic British invasion pop with a vital dosage of feminism. My God, I can't think of a better description for Patty Rothberg and Just Jill, who are the Ruminators. Come on in. Yay. Come on down. All right.
Thank you so much.
Well, I'm so thrilled to have you. And we're going to get everybody on screen. So move over.
Sorry.
I told you,
Okay.
it's time. Oh, there we are. Oh my God, there we are.
Okay.
We are so fabulous. Hello, everybody. Great. Thank you both, first of all, for being here today. I have to tell the audience, it took me an hour to get here today from uptown. I mean, that's insane. But a gridlock alert, and I'm crossing the street, and I see these two fabulous women. At first, all I saw was glitter, and I'm like, oh, who are those two? They mustn't have come home from the clubs last night, right? Remember those days when we would wake up in our club attire? And then I get closer. I'm like, oh my God, those are my guests. They look so gorgeous. I'm so happy to have them. So welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
All right. It's so great to have you here. So Patty Rothberg and Just Jill. I love the name. That's great. I'm just Wendy, right?
I feel like I should be just Patty because
so you can be just Patty today. That's
when in Rome.
When in Rome, just be just.
Just be just.
Right. So the Ruminators. Tell me about the title of your group and what it means and who came. I know there's got to be a story.
Well, I think we came up with it together. We both ruminate, and
Ruminating is a verb then.
It's quite simple.
Yeah.
What we did, it became the actual title. We thought, well, what's the title? I don't know. What do you want it to be? And we realized we were ruminating. So.
I mean, I think in our, we've been friends for a long time, and there are times that we'll talk about situations or certain people that we know in common, and then we'll sort of really get into it. So then,
Right.
and then we just dwell and dwell and dwell and dwell. So I thought that's kind of a cool name for a band.
Oh, it's great. So it's like a reminiscing, and it's like an obsessing.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's an obsessing. And my God, I was ruminating this morning.
Really?
Now I'm going to be using it all the time.
You may,
It's an absolute great verb. So, it's an interesting story. We talked a little bit before you came on about how you met. Could you share that with our audience?
Okay. Well, a lot of the clubs that we used to hang out in are no longer here. And
can we name some of them just because I like to hear their
course.
names?
Well, here's the thing. I'm always either smack in the middle of people's favorite haunts. Like, for example, well, I'll just say it. I'm 52 and, most of my friends are either 60, 70, and we don't think about our age. We just think about where we were.
Absolutely.
When
we mark our 52 is an age I'll never see again, but that's okay.
It doesn't matter. It's like
because who were we and what were we doing at that time?
Right. And so to answer the question more specifically, I tend to, there's another word, not ruminating, but veering off.
Oh no, I call it going down the rabbit hole. So you're in the right place, because if you go down the rabbit hole, I won't bring you back. I'll just go down the rabbit hole with you.
Okay, well, I love what you said about stumbling home at 4 a.m. in the clubs, because I always got the tail end of some club that used to be there. So Jill and I actually met at Kenny's Castaways.
Oh my God!
And it was at a Bill Pop's festival. He does it every year.
Everybody knows Bill Pop.
Okay, and I don't know Bill Pops. A little bit about Bill Pops. Tell me about him.
Okay. Well, I met him on the bar stool of CBGB's.
Oh, okay. So this is epic. We love these kind of memories.
But the thing that's so strange about it is, it wasn't in the middle of some cool event. It was just I happened to be there, and he was there too, and he asked me if I would sing on a song of his. So that's where we met, even though, Joey Ramone was not there. And happy birthday, CJ Ramone.
Oh, wait a minute. Joey Ramone's birthday is today.
Not Joey.
CBGB's.
It's actually CJ Ramone. So
CJ Ramone. Oh my
the
God.
alphabet of.
There's so many Ramones.
Vernacular.
So it's okay. Happy birthday, CJ Ramone. Did we get that right?
We got it all right.
Okay.
So let's get it down to
bar stool. Okay, so we were at the bar stool.
Yes, and Bill Pop. I did his song Sidewalk Dance, which is on one of his earlier albums, and he's still doing it.
Wow,
which is so cool.
That's so cool.
And just so everyone knows who he is. And Jill and I were both at the Bill Pop and the Tapes. He does a heart
like association, because his father
passed from some kind of
heart attack.
Yeah.
So he does like an annual event of
like a fundraiser, music
event yearly
in honor of his father.
So I had seen Patty, my ex-boyfriend brought me there, and then I was just wowed musically by her music.
So wait, so that was the first time you saw
Patty?
That's
the first time she ever saw me.
Yeah.
And we're like in the 90s. Tell me where we are.
It was like the 99.
It's
19
Kenny's Castaways, which is not there anymore.
Yeah, right.
But I lived there for years. So.
Wow. So we were like at the end of the 90s, and you had seen her.
Exactly.
I'd seen her perform, and then a mutual friend of my ex knew like someone she worked with, and so Patty and I we were first working together, he and I, and then I just became fast friends with Patty. And then over the years, we've written some music, but we never really recorded it. And we've just been writing over the years. What was
I have to ask this, what was the connection? Was it just some of those times those connections are organic? So what was it about Patty?
Well, first of all, Jill was in.
Patty's going to answer for you.
It was as you were in the waiting room, and I was like, it was like I was listening to your music, and I loved your dress. You had on like a hippie dress. 60s, very
Yeah,
hip
and a
mod.
60s dress. And I'm going to slide you a little bit closer.
Okay.
Come on
Okay.
in there. Yeah. Okay, good.
So now you
Yeah,
answer.
yeah. So now you get to answer.
So, no, I just
Y'all are so
remember
funny.
seeing Patty sing, and then our mutual producer introduced us, or that's how I got introduced originally, by hearing her play. And then I would go to like McCore, which is also like no longer there, but that was a treat to go see her at too. And I was originally doing music with her producer, and then we just struck up a friendship, and then started to. I mean, there's a lot of shared things that we have, like in terms of fashion, or
Yes.
in terms of our humor.
Yeah, I got that.
And then we would just be hanging out at my house, and then we'd start shouting lyrics to each other. That was our first
We
song,
all lived
yeah.
in Hell's Kitchen. So basically there was a
Wow.
railroad apartment that she used to have no longer.
With slanty floors.
Were there slanty floors?
I had a
Oh, sure.
I had a slanty floor apartment. Not in Hell's Kitchen. No, it was East Side, but it was slanty floors.
I'm East Side now too. I think there probably is a slanty
Tubbing kitchen.
Oh, you had one of those?
Yeah, we
I've
had.
always
Yeah,
envied
those were
that.
our early apart. I came way before you. So I got the tub in the kitchen.
I'm
Eat your
jealous.
heart out, right? You wanted the tub in the
I
kitchen.
did, because it's strange, but it's
It was
so New York.
It was so strange and so New York, and the slanty floors. But what
Another
you're
thing I missed.
talking about is a collaboration, really. And when things like that happen, isn't that amazing? Because your voices, the blending of your voices when I listen to your music, but not only that, the lyrics and your sense of humor is very similar to mine, which is that people have described mine as off. It's an off sense of humor, or a way of looking at things truthfully in a funny way. That's the best way I can put it. And when I listen to your music, and how you perceive guys is similar, or men, or whatever, and your music is just infused with it. That's what I wanted to say. So from early on in the game, you started writing. And what kinds of things did you write?
It was initially about dating.
Dating, of course.
Sort of dating, like our first song was Jerry's, and we were writing about either older people being interested in you, or people that are like younger than your son, or someone, like the ideal was sort of the person around your age, and so there was lots of dating, ideas of just sort of thinking, how could we put that down musically.
I think what's so funny, if we were talking about stand-up comedy, if you watch female stand-up comedians, that's a very big topic. And what you just said, either being, what do I call them? The 3 V's: very old, very rich, and very sick, or young. I know that was terrible. And once it could be your son, right? And everything that's in between. And that's something women struggle with, because it's, finding the perfect partner. I wonder, do we think that men go through that as much?
I think my impression, just I have, from my male friends, is that it's more like, how many times are they going to have to initiate their interest from being batted down or rejected?
Thank you for sharing that with me, because I never thought about that they're worried about being rejected.
And also,
I know you assume they're just tough as a rock because they act that way, because they think they're supposed to.
Right.
And then if you actually get to know one as a friend, they're probably trying to hit on you too, but not necessarily.
Right.
But what was our point?
Okay, so our point was how the two of you got together, the clubs that I can get you back on track. I'll go down. I told you I will go down the rabbit hole with you, and then we'll come out of the rabbit hole. We'll get back on track. Okay. But I do like being down the rabbit hole. So the two of you started making music together. Now, Patty, first I'm gonna talk to you, because your first opportunities, you met an A&R guy, right, that helped get you started.
Yeah, that's an easy way of putting it. Basically, I met a whole bunch of people at once. It was all in 1994. It was the same time that I went to Sidewalk, and we crossed paths, but we didn't meet that yet. So because we met in 99, isn't that strange?
No, it's so cool.
If we had met then, totally different albums.
Right. If you had met then, it would
If
have
we
been
had
a
only met then,
Right.
but we didn't meet yet.
Right. That's another song, if we had only met then.
Oh, ooh.
Okay. So
you gotta start writing this stuff down in Sharpie.
Yeah, no, it's okay. I memorize it in the corridors of my mind, but go on.
That's wonderful.
So,
I mean, we're talking about guys. We have so many different fires now.
yeah.
I feel
So
like
we're
maybe I could
talking
learn
about
to
your
cook from
early
this.
career. I got you back on track. And like your debut was 1 and 9 was the
Right.
album?
Yes, it was called Between the 1 and the 9.
Between the 1 and the 9.
And I was actually in an all-girl female. I said female already. But I didn't even think of it really like that because it's very different than the way things are now.
Right.
It's mostly very polished pop with someone in the front that's like the focal point, and they're back to Barbie.
Now you mean?
Now.
Yeah.
Whereas
Yeah.
back then
It was raw.
It was raw.
I got it. Yeah, it was raw.
I mean, I was in this band. They were called Thrust, and
Thrust?
They called themselves sex positive, which basically meant we like it too, and
Right.
But it was of course very polite because
you're ladies.
we're women,
Right.
We're not
Even
allowed to
ladies,
say these
right.
things.
Sex positive.
Sex positive. And so here I am thinking I'm like doing this, cutting edge thing. But a lot of the guys just came to gawk at the women in the body paint.
Even then.
Even though we're like making a statement, but they don't care because they came to gawk.
Right. And
We're very visual.
Now we're going down a rabbit hole because that's a pet peeve of mine, that thing. You would never have women that would go to gawk at men. They would watch them.
Well, there's Chippendales, but you know what? They're there to talk to each other.
Yeah, right. Right. When you go, if you went to Chippendales,
Sorry,
right.
guys.
But that's a good point.
Yeah.
You go with your girlfriends, you throw down a couple of cocktails, the guys are scantily clad, but it's like, they're kind of like window dressing. You're not focused on them. You're focused on your friends and your girl talk. Whereas guys will come and you're right. They objectify.
That was then. Yes.
Right.
Well, and anytime, I think it's definitely now too.
Definitely. Now you just said something about the whole, they're back to Barbie. I say that all the time,
Well, Barbie, the movie was just a year ago.
Right. But they are back to Barbie. I even look in my neighborhood because I'm a people watcher. And I always like to look at people who's hooked up with who or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
We have a lot of financial guys in my neighborhood.
Oh.
Right. And the women that they're with often are like Barbie. Like if they're pregnant, they have a baby bump. They don't have a pregnancy.
Oh, right.
Right.
It just pops out.
Right. It just pops out. And then their bodies are back to a size 2. This is like, okay, now you got me going down the rabbit hole.
I know. I'm sorry.
Y'all are a bad
That's what we do.
influence
We
on
need
me.
you. We need
No,
you
it's
to
good.
bring it all
Yeah. So
down
we're bringing it all back. Okay. So,
in the beginning of the 90s.
In the beginning of the 90s.
Because we were talking about 1 and 9.
Right.
And what, I mean,
between 1 and 9.
Right. Like we were talking also before that about lyrics and what we talk about and what was real. I mean, so there were Jerry's, which is either men like you're talking about in your neighborhood who are super rich and they expect it to have a perfect
wife,
little
wifey.
Like
and they're Jerry's. They're called Jerry's.
We call them Jerry's, just like Geritol, like short. Take your vitamins. No, but we didn't mean it as an insult exactly. No, it's just
it's funny.
There are some men that you're attracted to that are older.
Right.
Ironically, I was on the bus. This is
please share your bus story
this is
with
my
us.
bus story. So anyway, I was on the bus and there was this older man checking me out, and I was just sort of like in my phone or whatever. I was on the bus, and then all of a sudden he's like standing up, and I looked at him, and he like is staring at me, and then I'm like, oh shit, he looks like Jimmy Page.
Get out!
And I was like,
get out!
I was like, but he had like sort of white, sort of yellow.
Yeah, but he does.
Did he look like he could be a rocker from?
The thing is, I looked at him and I was like, oh my god! But I don't. He was probably just a guy. He was probably just.
But would you have gone for it if you found out it was actually Jimmy Page?
I think I would have had a different opinion if I knew it was Jimmy Page.
I love that honesty. Because that's really putting it on the table.
But I think like when I saw, oh my God, is that Jimmy Page? And I was just looking at him and he was like smiling at me and he was getting off at like 6th Street or whatever.
That's hilarious.
And I was like, wow, it did sort of make me think differently.
Right. And the fact that, okay, now, and we're also talking about this status thing, right? Because if he had been like some senior dude, maybe not. But the fact that you thought he might be Jimmy Page, you know, well, because there's a point of connection there. You're both in music.
Yeah.
Right. And he would get you and you would get him.
And he's a god.
Right. And Jimmy Page is a god. But this was probably just one of those guys with the 3 V's, very old, very rich, and very sick. I'm sorry.
It's fine.
Or
So
maybe-
terrible.
Maybe he's like frequently mistaken as Jimmy Page and he gets into it. You know,
Right.
he's sort of into that.
Right.
He could have been a Jimmy Page impersonator.
Well, there you go. Right.
We don't know.
Right. We don't know. So, okay. So
That's where the Weird Al comes in.
where we have the bus story, and now we're back to what was going on with you. You were seeing Jerry's, writing music.
I think it has so much to do with once you are in a relaxed place where you can start talking to someone.
Yes.
Because then you can find out. I mean, then, you know, maybe forever onward, I'll say, you're more attracted to Jerry's.
Right.
Because they're older and they've lived a little bit.
Right.
Like, well, let's say you experimented dating with a more Chippendalesy guy, I'll call it. Like a younger, we call them, what do we call them? The younger? Zygotes.
Okay, tell me. Wait, you have to define
Speaking
it.
of baby bumps.
Right. So zygotes are.
Zygotes are men who are way too young for you. And, you know, maybe you have a different sense of yourself, or you remember your 10-year-old self, like finding this guy attractive. And then you realize, wait a minute, this
Right.
is an inappropriate age situation. And sometimes it actually is sort of clinically inappropriate.
Right.
Like, oh, that guy has school books. He's cute.
Wait, he's cute. He has
But
school
he has
books
school
and
books.
a backpack.
That means his knowledge is fresh and he's probably just as smart as a Jerry, you know?
Right. Well,
So-
yeah, that would be the great equalizer, right? So the
Yeah.
zygote and the Jerry at that point come together. They could
come
be
together.
the same. But the Jerry is
Yeah.
more appropriate because he's the older man.
More appropriate, yes.
Yeah, definitely. None of it. I call the zygotes, I call them embryos.
It's
When
the
I
same
met-
exact
Right.
thing.
When I
Exactly.
meet them and
You're
they're
our
like, oh, you're so
soulmate.
cool. You're so this, you're so that. I'm like, you're an embryo.
Exactly.
You were like an embryo. No, some of them are not even an embryo. They're a thought. They were a
the
thought. They were
The
the
twin-
there was
the
a twinkle
twinkle.
in your mother's eye
Yeah.
or something.
they were a twinkle in your mother's eye. And I have to ask you, ladies, are these words and lyrics out of some of the songs that you've written?
Let's hear it, because we never know what we said. And it all is true.
Wow.
So if it's if we're speaking our truths,
right, we are speaking our truth.
then these lyrics are probably going to be perfectly, and plus I believe in synchronicity and
right.
it drives her nuts.
So,
But
I
like,
believe in it too. That's
Yeah.
interesting. Oh,
oh,
hello, totally.
that's
hello.
what I'm saying. Hello.
Yeah, right. Hello.
See, that's what
That's
synchronicity-
interesting to me that you don't believe in synchronicity.
No, it's not
because
that
It
you're
just gets
meeting
tired of me
it
like pointing it
It's
out.
not
all
that
the
I don't
time.
believe it. It scares me more, actually.
because it's like an unknown why did it happen thing that you can't
I mean,
explain.
It's like I see it happening and I'm like, oh, this is a little spooky.
The
Okay.
coincidences.
Well, let's talk about the fact that you two were in the same stomping ground, Sidewalk Cafe, for like, what was it, 5 years before you were aware of each other?
Like
Well,
maybe
4 or 5 years.
Maybe a few months actually before we met, because we met in '99. So, and I got back in '99. So maybe several months.
From
Several-
Chicago?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you have to ask yourself how much of that, right, that you might have been passing each other was parallel universe. Let's talk about
Mm.
that. You know, I'm a big believer in that. Like right now, while we're having this discussion, this is our reality, but there could be another
I
reality
have
going
so
on.
many questions I want to
Yeah,
ask
right.
you.
Yeah, it's great because, you know, I
Yeah.
remember the Explorers Club. If I don't know an answer, I'll make one up, but it'll be such a good one. You'll believe it, and so will I. I believe
love
my
that.
own stuff, but okay, so we have the two of you now coming together, realizing, you know, you can make beautiful music. Oh my God, that was so cliche, but
No.
but it is. What was the first album that the two of you did together?
We did Catch and Release.
Okay, and
Uh,
what kinds of songs were in Catch and Release?
Because
Because that's like a fishing term, right? We're gonna.
It is,
catch
but
it.
I was not thinking. I mean, when you know, oh, that guy's a great catch. That is a direct metaphor from
Yeah.
from fishing,
Yeah.
and
right.
yet women are more apt to.
Oh, he's a
use
good
it.
catch.
Yeah, what a
right.
great catch.
Right. Right.
so our songs were Peck and Pull, Zygotes, Lift and Sniff, Box of Penises.
For the first one, that
and
might
then
have
what
been
was
it.
and then no, there's one
There
more.
weren't that
Okay, so I can't run through these without stopping you.
Okay.
Stop. What was it? Lift and sniff.
Lift and sniff.
Okay, so what? Like, I need the gist of these songs. Like,
Well, I'm gonna let Patty answer that.
I don't know why you're letting me answer that. No, but okay.
Okay, so we're starting with lift and sniff.
This song is basically, it's almost like a public service announcement, but it's private because it involves someone specific and the two of us.
Okay.
So we're talking about, it's really more about like a metaphor for narcissism. And like, hey guy, are you aware that there's other people in the room? Maybe you should apply some deodorant and like get a clue. That's what the song.
Right, lift and sniff, right? Because they lift their arms.
Like,
and, yeah.
Ooh, I stink. Maybe I should
Right.
like acknowledge other people in the room once in a while. Because this is someone who is, I think, bitter that they didn't
Use deodorant.
Yeah. Other people are bitter. No, I don't know.
Oh, if only they had used that Irish Spring that morning, they would have had a better day. And I like it too. Do you remember that commercial? And I like it too.
I use it.
Let's get back to lift and sniff and men who don't use deodorant.
I mean, women too. Women.
Oh, anybody.
Yeah.
Children.
I remember in college there was a girl in my yoga class, and she absolutely wouldn't use deodorant. And again, none of us are haters here. It's it's got to do with, I like when things smell what is good to me. Now, maybe body odor smells good to certain people, but I remember this person who would just never use deodorant. And, she was friendly and wanted to be my friend. And
but she made an impression on
the impression was, it's like, I don't, right. But that's because I like floral smells. I like things that smell good.
You prefer them to gnarly yoga underarms?
Gnarly or men that don't use deodorant, and there are a number. Okay, so
but it's really quite a literal. I mean, yes, those are all the metaphors. Now that we have that out of the way.
Sniff. So, but okay,
it's
now
like
we have
a funny song about like sometimes some cultures they don't like it. My friend Brad. Hi, Brad.
Hi, Brad.
He would tell me that there was a time where women as feminists would not bathe they would grow underarm hair, and then they would like use sandalwood or whatever, or essence of niceness.
Brad and I are the same age. I haven't met him, but I'm sure that we
are.
Is that right? We're not going to say what that age is.
That's okay. Well, whatever age you are, I want to be like you when I grow up.
I'm embalmed, but I came of age in that age, and that is the God's honest truth.
Yeah.
But there were so many people that believed in that, but I still didn't like the lift and sniff, and I didn't like it. But you brought up something in other cultures, right? I've traveled in other parts of the world,
and in taxi cabs.
So this is right, taxi cabs in New York, right, or like stinky. But it's interesting because now you're making me look at my own hypocrisy here, Patty. Now you've made me into a hypocrite. Yes, because when I've traveled and worked in Africa, I've done small documentaries there with tribal people. It didn't bother me at all. Now, why is that?
Context.
Oh my God. We're here. We're there. Are we not onto something here?
Well,
this is psychology, right? It doesn't bother me when I'm there. And why? The context is it's perfectly okay because it's part of their culture.
Right. So we are influenced by the people around us and their expectations of our armpits.
Right. There we go. Armpit expectations. Oh, that's going to be another song by them.
It's a good armpit expectations. You should work in commercials.
Come on. God help us all. Yes, I have. I do. But yeah. So,
and then we wrote
box of penises. I need a little.
Let Jill tell you about it.
Jill.
Oh, it's just over there.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, Jill.
No, but that's fine. Jill can tell us about box of penises.
Well, sometimes we take road trips. So we were taking one of our road trips, and then I think we just got on the topic of sort of what women are expected to be. They're supposed to marry like the first person that they meet and then have children, and they're young and they don't really get to know the person.
Generation before us.
Right.
And then there's a lot of pressure like from there's a lot of pressure to get married. I mean, at least that used to be the ideology maybe in the past, and I think it's changing. But we started writing that song while she was driving.
Wow.
And then by the time we got to the house, like we started just fleshing out the whole thing.
But is box of penises, what's it a metaphor for? Is it like I'm asking this. It's a pointed question. Is it a hope chest?
Oh, Hey,
Hey,
I like that.
I like that
right? Is
too.
it like
because
right?
that's such a wonderful old
Right.
hope, like we just to go back to our naming, our first EP is about sort of titles of men. There's Jerry's, there's zygotes or embryos,
Right.
and then there's something called the middleman. The middleman is like the ideal guy. Now, can you meet a middleman in the middle of your life?
Yeah. Why not?
I mean,
Well,
theoretically,
that I'm going to tell you.
theoretically, you could at any age you can meet a middleman.
Right.
Right. The middleman that's why he's always in the middle.
Right.
You could meet him when you were older, and maybe you had a first husband or wife. And the thing is, if you meet them when you're young, like right out of high school, then you got one penis that one penis.
God,
Do you know what I'm saying?
that's like
Unless you
so
cheat.
Spartan. It's so Spartan to have
Isn't
like
it?
emerging into the world with one penis, but by the time you get to the middleman, well, it could have been a whole box of penises by the time you get to
Exactly.
The
The box of penises is kind of like a byproduct of the societal pressure of having
right.
the one.
Right.
I mean, it's a Forrest Gump reference. Like,
oh, I didn't even know that.
Really?
Oh my
Yeah,
God,
so
I had no
life is
idea.
like a box of chocolates.
So it's a box of
And you
penis.
never know what you're gonna get. So if you listen to our lyrics of the specific lyrics about the penises, some penises, they're all different sizes. Some women like them, down to that side of the room. Other
Right.
people prefer a small.
It's a personal taste.
It's personal. And I do think that men have a lot of anxiety about,
oh my God, of course.
The first I almost said unraveling. I did not mean that. The very first unveiling is what I meant to say of, the thing.
Right.
There-
The unwrapping, the unveiling.
And meanwhile, we have our whole, Barbiness to worry about. We got to worry. Do we lift? Do we sniff? How's our hair?
Right.
Are we Irish Spring happy all the time?
Do we lift? Do we sniff? How do we get on with our lives in a Barbie world that was, I think when Greta Gerwig came up with the film, it was the attempt was to try and show the absurdity of it. I think it just did the opposite. I really do. I think there is a whole ilk of men who saw that and were like, yeah, Barbie, they missed the point.
That's so probable.
It's so probable.
But
so
only because she's so intense and she's putting out a message. And if somebody isn't getting that message,
right,
it's like not her problem or fault.
No.
That's part of the whole issue.
Right.
That is the issue.
That at the end of the day,
difference of the way we think.
Right.
I think in some ways, like doing Catch and Release I had the most fun recording that I've ever recorded with anyone.
What was so fun?
I think we were just like a lot of times Patty will take the songs and put little things on them in my absence. So like she did like with the Tabernacle Choir.
Oh God, not the Mormon Tabernacle.
Did I forget?
No, you did
I think
not.
I went away or
think on
something, and she
purpose.
put the Tabernacle Choir on Love Shrine or something, and it was like so amazing. And then we would just the lyrics, I think, make us laugh, or just so much fun we're having, which is not usually my experience because I've done some recording, but not a huge amount compared to Patty, but I just had a blast. We were just laughing at the lyrics, laughing at musically how things were going,
and having a great time.
and it was fun and it was very relaxed.
That's
So different,
Right.
Yeah.
Well, what I would like to do at this point, because we're talking about their fabulous music, I'd like to play the clip that they sent today. And this one is called...
It's probably perfect, whatever it is.
Yeah, it's probably perfect, whatever it is.
What do we call it?
It's not the penis one.
Is it Peck and Paul?
Peck and Paul.
Okay.
It's Peck. Right. The clip is called Peck and Paul. And
you're sitting in your car with your platonic friend. He thinks this is a means to your rear end. He leans in for the kiss and without a love, you better learn to do the peck and pull. Peck and pull, peck and pull. It is fine, you're delectable. You meet up with some friends at a restaurant. You order prime rib, but it's you want. At the end of the night, he whispers in your ears, I wish we were the only two people here. The back and forth, in his mind, you're delectable. Keep your breath until your time's again. Keep him in mind, make him respectable. Yes, it's the peck and pull. A little move I devised not so long ago. Maybe you've tried it and didn't even know. He tries to slide so sly into first base, but then you barely even touch his face. You pull the peck and pull and quickly change subjects. So the next time he tries it, he's in check. The peck and pull, in his mind you're delectable. You keep your friend until he tries it again. Keep him in mind, make him respectable. The peck and pull, yeah, the peck and pull. In his mind you're delectable. You keep your friend until he tries it again. Keep him in mind, make him respectable.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And that was the Peck and Pull.
It was.
So we heard the lyrics. What was your inspiration behind Peck and Pull?
Well, a lot of times we have very deep relationships with friends who are male,
Right.
and we want to keep them deep. We want them to tell us everything. We want them to be, to stay platonic, because as soon as something becomes official or the relationship changes,
So agree with you. So agree with you.
Yeah, and you may in the back of your mind think this guy wants to kiss me right now. So the peck and pull is an actual move. And I've talked to some of my male friends. I do have some male friends. Do
You
have
wait.
any left?
You have some male friends.
Male
Definitely
friends.
have
Okay, you have
That's a
male friends,
friend.
and do you also, Jill, have male friends?
Yeah,
Okay, cool.
yeah.
I only have gay male friends. That's why I'm
Oh,
asking.
I
yeah.
love
only
gay male
have-
friends.
but I only have gay male friends. Why? What is
Mm.
that?
probably
like, and
the
hundreds of
other
them.
ones
Oh, wow.
have ulterior motives on it. Maybe.
I don't know. They're just not in my way. So this is interesting. Okay, you have male friends.
I do have some. There's actually a guy right down the street in the thrift store that
In the thrift
he
store
asked me
next
for a
door?
date. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Well, we'll
I'm-
go
I'm
in there
there.
anyway. I'll show you.
Okay.
It's okay. And like I forgot about it. I always just kind of like brush over it. That's the peck and pull. It's kind of like
Right.
like, oh, look at that, or that's the peck and pull. Like they're trying to kiss you and they're getting pretty close, and it's getting pretty obvious that that's what's gonna happen, but it's not gonna happen because guess what? Oh, I have to go. Oh, I forgot something.
Yeah.
You act.
Have a
like,
good day. Really great to see you.
See, I hope you had. Well, anyway, so I went in there and I was always very nice and with him, and I think maybe he thought I was hitting on him because I was trying to speak French to him because I think he speaks French.
Okay, but let's start with that. Didn't you think when you were doing that he might misread it?
Yes. No, I didn't.
Oh, you
I-
didn't.
no,
it was
I just-
innocent. On
I
your
wanted
part.
to speak French with someone because
Yeah.
I learned French.
You did.
And so Jill speaks French very
you
well.
two, both of you speak French well.
We don't
Je
speak
parle
it-
français un petit peu.
Nous sommes assez très bien ça. Okay, anyway.
So you spoke French to him.
So I spoke French, and then he's like, "So you want to go on a date?" Or I don't remember. if
Did he
said
say it in French
I
or
don't know.
English?
I don't
Oh,
remember.
okay.
But remember, we just thought that. At the same time. And so then from then on, he felt rejected, and you don't want to reject your friends, whether they be male, female, gay, straight. You want everyone to be happy, you know?
Right.
But you can't make everyone happy because sometimes they won't take no for an answer.
Right.
So they'll keep trying. So this guy over here, I asked him, hi, like brushing over the whole thing. I go on a separate day. He's like, that's $15. And I'm like, but it's marked $10.
Wait, so he was charging you? Hold on.
Yeah. I think that's
Wow.
probably illegal, actually. I don't know. But I mean, and then I don't push it. I'll just leave. You know? And then there's this other guy in a totally different part of the world, like at a Dunkin' Donuts.
And
who
which part of the world was that Dunkin' Donuts in?
let's just say suburbia.
Okay.
And he would make my favorite drink. And I thought he was just being nice because I always ordered the same thing. It was a nice coffee with
What can you tell us what was in it?
cream.
What's your favorite drink?
Maybe
right?
he put some
Whipped
cognac
cream
in
or
it.
cognac?
I'm
No, they
joking.
don't do that at Dunkin'
No, they
Donuts.
can't do that.
You're not that special.
I am, but they
You
didn't
are?
do it.
They
No, I'm
didn't
just
do it.
kidding. You need
Okay,
to.
so he made you your special drink.
Yeah, and I
you
thought
know.
we were just like buddies, like, oh, you did it again, thank you so much, and then I'd just be out of there. So one day he followed me to my car,
Oh,
and
wow.
that becomes like
that's
borderline
like that's a little
That's not
stalker
right.
time.
That's not right.
Stalker time.
so a peck and pull doesn't necessarily have to be an attempt of a kiss.
Right.
It can just mean like a brush over so that you can reestablish that awesome. Oh, I'll get the same drink again at we're buddies again.
Right.
Or,
We're buds.
yeah, we're pals.
But he followed you to your car.
Yeah, he did, but I forgave it, and
But
and
a lot of-
unfortunately, it gets worse.
a lot of times with our music, like we'll each
And bringing you
sort of-
back this
sorry.
way. Yeah. Go
We'll
ahead.
each have like shared
Yeah.
experiences, but our own. Well, we'll each have experiences of our own, and then we'll sort of come together and sort of add to the song. So Patty will have hers experience, I'll have mine, and then we'll sort of lyrically start developing songs like that.
But that's really great that
Yeah.
you can do that because you have your separate experiences, but because of your sensibilities, you're able to put it together in a song. That's great.
it is
you
cool.
know?
yeah, it's great.
And share that with your audience.
So like a lot of times we'll both do music, or Patty will do music, I'll do music, or I'll do like the chorus, she'll do parts, and we'll just like interchange.
Or we switch
experience.
verses. So
And
in
you
the
can even
Peck and Bowl,
switch.
she sang the second verse about some real thing that happened that I happened to be there for
Wow. In the peck and pull.
in the Peck and Bowl.
Oh, okay. Oh, right.
Right, you sing the second verse about what happened to you. Oh my God.
So I would imagine like when you have a lot of women in your audiences, they love the things that you sing about
I think people
because they can shake their heads.
I think people
Yes.
either love us or hate us. Actually, I think for the people that really like us, they're really into us,
Right.
And I think there's women that can relate. I think there's men that can relate too. Also,
I don't think it's gender like only.
I mean, like,
Right.
we
Okay,
played,
got it.
We played at a club, and when we sang "Box of Penises," like men and women were like really into it.
Everybody was, I'm sure, laughing because that's, when I saw that title, it is really funny that you would have a song called, but I immediately thought of a hope chest.
No, but I love that because that
I
means
hope-
it's something that's coming in the future. Like, hey,
Well, yeah, you
maybe
have your
I'll
Hope
get the little
Chest.
Whitman's guy that has nothing inside. Or maybe I'll get like a Carvel. Yeah.
Right. Yay. It gives you something. It's like Cracker Jacks. Like, what's the
Sure.
prize going to be?
Yeah, and
It's
they
like you could go there with
I
that.
wish they would make the prizes better.
I know. I haven't had Cracker Jacks in so long. I had it when I was in third grade, and I ate 4 boxes because I won them in an art contest. I got very
Wow.
sick, and then I never ate any
Oh.
more Cracker Jacks again. I forfeited the
Oh.
prize.
Oh wow.
However, I digress. So I need to know about like where you both grew up and stuff like that.
Well, I grew up in New York. I'm from New York. And when I was in high school, my dad moved us to Bronx.
Which is where I grew up.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Well,
really?
yeah.
And then we just for like a few years.
But I need to know, like, where did you go to school in the Bronx and everything?
no, I went to public school until 6th grade, and then I went to Little Red.
Oh, so you went to,
first,
yeah.
7th and 8th grade, and then I went to EI, Elizabeth Irwin, which is
Elizabeth Irwin High School.
Yeah, so that was like part of Little Red, and then I was like forced to go to a
And
prep
I'm
school.
bringing you back on camera.
Okay.
No matter how hard you try and get away from me,
I
you will never escape.
I was forced by my aunt to go to prep school for 2 years. So that was
Were they trying to, like,
that was
smooth out, like, you?
They said I was having too much fun.
Oh.
You look like just
too
Jill looks like the
happy.
kind of girl you want to have fun with. So they were gonna smooth out the rough edges.
Yeah,
So
I guess so.
you went to prep school for 2 years.
that was.
And then what
horrible.
happened after that?
I went to college.
And which
upstate,
college? Where?
Skidmore.
Oh, I know
And then
Skidmore,
And then
yeah.
I went to grad school in Chicago. And then I came back here in '99, and that's when I met Patty. And I've always been musically, like, I started writing songs in the '80s. So
Right. Yeah, I got artsy. I got music early on in the game, and a natural ability to do that.
Yeah.
That even prep school couldn't get rid of. You're extreme. No, you're both artsy people, right? In the way we look and our sensibility or whatever. We can sniff each other out a mile away. We can also sniff out the math science people too.
The math science.
Right. You know, they're just. Now I've met people, left brain, right brain, that are artsy and math science, and they're very cool because they're super smart, but they're also very artsy. And
I talked about this last night with my neighbor Nancy.
Oh, really?
She's a math. You are.
Yeah.
She's a math genius.
Yeah.
She does all the taxes. She does everything mathematical in the house. Organized.
She's brilliant.
She is brilliant, and she
Right.
also sings and plays the guitar.
Right.
So it's not always just I am only left brain. Or
Right.
only right brain.
No, there are
But
left
she
brain, right
really
brain
is very
people, and
mathematical.
they're when you have them for friends, they're great because they can fulfill everything that you need. So, so you have a history in the arts. Prep school didn't get rid of it, thank God.
But also, like
Yeah.
Little Red and EI were
Yeah.
like very arts driven.
I know both of those places.
Like
really
I was
well.
singing. I mean, I started singing
Yeah.
when I was in 4th grade, but the whole school was actually singing in high school in
I
like
love it.
10th and 11th grade. So we were singing like classical arias and music and then as choral stuff. And then I learned photography in high school, and I also did like Broadway music, also like in the shows. So
See-
everybody in the school also performed
So
musically.
this is so great. Like you
I
look at the
didn't realize
dimension
all
and that. Right. That's why you're on the show today, so you can learn
Yeah.
things about just Jill, because she's not just Jill at the end of the
She's
day.
not.
She's so much more.
That's her fake name.
No, and you never told me where in the Bronx you lived.
Oh, we live in Riverdale.
Oh,
for,
okay.
like-
I lived in the Whitehall for a little bit. You know where that is in Riverdale.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I didn't grow up there. I grew up by Walton High School, by Lehman College.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's
And
great.
I had a great time growing up, but I needed a much bigger playing field than the Bronx offered for me. But actually now it's funny how you go back to your roots a lot of the time and what your comfort zone is. And I love talking to anyone that's doing anything in the Bronx. Tym Moss, my co-host, does so much for the LGBTQ community up in the Bronx. It's ironic he's from the Midwest, cornfed boy. Ironic that we would be doing all the stuff we do together, and yet we have a Bronx connection. So yeah, Bronx, let's hear it. What about you?
Bronx cheer.
Where did
No, I'm just kidding.
did you grow up, Patty?
I guess I grew up. No, I in Scarsdale, which is like
Yeah, of course.
suburbia.
I
and
know Scarsdale.
I should call it suburbia
Wow.
because like it was just like the movies that you watched in the 80s. I had green hair by the time I was 13 because I knew.
It's called puberty.
Oh, is that what it is? Oh, I'm glad it happened.
That was a terrible joke.
No, it's okay. No, but I mean, I dyed my hair with Tish and Snooki's dye. They had a store. I would come into the city like every Saturday that I possibly could. And, I went into their store and I was like, oh, someday I'll have an occasion to wear a rubber dress. And
that special occasion
It
where you
hasn't
want to pull
happened
out your
yet.
rubber dress.
yeah, I mean, every girl feels that way.
Right.
So, but there was, the football team, and then I had a lot of friends, but everybody was like my own handpicked friend.
Well, yeah, I would imagine.
Yeah, like I was friends with this woman named Dana who was really tight pants, like totally into, she smoked and in 8th grade, I liked people like that. I liked the people, the fringe people.
Right. The ones that were ahead of their time.
Yeah.
And where are they now?
I hope they're okay.
I hope they're okay.
Mm.
See, you're obviously very okay because whoever you were then is still who you are now.
I'm still here.
Yeah. No, you're not only still here. I mean, all the great stuff about you and you is just, sometimes people get beaten down, right, in life, and they change form or conform or any of those things. How wonderful to retain who you are and what you're about. That's why I said I wonder where they are now. A lot of the people I knew, the more colorful ones, like for one reason or another, didn't make it. Some sold out. That happens. And then other people, you can sometimes get eaten by yourself, right?
It's true. Also, you don't know what people think of themselves.
Ah,
When I was a freshman, I had I'm not gonna call it a crush. Don't make me call it a crush.
All right, it could be. A crush,
There was a guy who was a senior, and he was in the Grateful Dead band, and I just thought, wow, he's so amazing. He can play guitar, and I was just learning how to play like an E chord.
He was in the Grateful Dead.
Well, everyone in for some reason in Scarsdale High School, there was a big Deadhead scene.
Yeah, I knew about that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, my cousins grew up in Scarsdale.
Oh, okay.
I know. All
Yeah,
of
there were like
Westchester,
hippies.
Yeah.
Hippie football players. I don't know. But I went to it was like the senior pool party, and this was like the big man on campus, only the artsy guy. And so I recently contacted him, and I wanted to tell him this whole story.
Oh yeah, this is great.
And so we ended up writing a song together, and it's on my page. It's called Julio Iglesias.
Stop. That's so cool.
I think he came up with that.
Wait, he knew Julio
No, he just made up the name Julio Iglesias
for the song
because it was at the pool.
Right. That makes sense.
Yeah, and the way that I was reconnected to him was so random. I was doing sort of a residency at a place called the Fez, not the one that was here, not Undertime Cafe.
Okay, I was.
But there was a restaurant, same spelling, same everything. It was like Middle Eastern food, really good. And he has 4 daughters, and he brings them to this restaurant. And I'm like, okay, is he here to see me? Or because I was the musical person.
Right.
He wasn't.
It's okay. We
It's
forgave
actually
him.
better that
Right? It was
way.
better.
Yeah.
And he had his daughters with him.
Yeah.
But that is a really cool story because this is someone you knew
know.
from high
The
school.
question is he really forgiven?
Well, he's not the one. He's not that one.
Oh, okay.
He's a different one.
Well, how many were there?
Not that many.
There weren't.
No.
There weren't.
But they
that
all
many.
ended up with lots of daughters.
Interesting. I asked you about the Julio Iglesias thing because I actually met Julio.
Oh, you did?
I was in a show with him.
To all the
And-
girls I've loved
before in South America. I was in
Wow.
the Miss Bikini pageant where they
Oh.
took 10 women from New York and gave us all foreign countries to be from. I was Miss Switzerland. It was a
Oh.
total hoax, and I didn't take it very seriously till they put us on TV down there and we had rehearsal. And there we were at the pool with Julio rehearsing our number. He was singing, and we were
Are
going
you
to be
listening to
behind
this?
him. I know this is like it's
That's
in my
incredible.
book.
That's
She's the last model
amazing.
standing, right? But I didn't know who Julio was. I'm
Wow.
like, who is this guy with these fake white teeth? And he was too tanned. And they took magazine pictures of us out at the pool, like draped with Julio. Who would have thunk, right, that he was crossing over to the United States 2 years later and became, megastar.
So this
here.
is like a synchronicity.
It is the fact that you mentioned.
huge one.
And it happened, by the way, all my experiences with Julio, the rehearsals, everything took place by a pool. So that's why you
That's so nuts.
just made that go off in my head. Ding, ding,
Wow.
ding, ding, ding.
There it is.
There you go. There's that synchronicity. Upcoming shows. What can we expect?
Well, most immediately, we're going to be at Pete's Candy Store on Monday, Columbus Day. And
you're on Columbus Day Pete's Candy Store. If people want to find out where you're going to be, where are they going to go?
well, we're going to be at Pete's Candy Store from 6 to 8. Well, we're just doing a few songs. It's a collective of songwriters who I work with for writing music. And then it's a showcase, Lorraine Lucky's showcase.
We did a whole series of shows at the Rockwood.
Right.
Yeah, we've played Rockwood for a year.
Lot, right?
Yeah.
And when we were talking before the show, I knew about Rockwood. I had never been there. Now, of course, are you going to be back there next year?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, probably this year.
Okay. That's before January.
Next year. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Either
hope so.
Rockwood, maybe Lucky in the East Village.
Okay. I
I
actually know where Lucky is because somebody just had a birthday party. There are a few. Abby Edifix, you probably know.
Unless maybe I know.
Abby I'm not saying her last name right,
Oh.
but you know her, I'm sure you do, because she's part of the whole scene that we all know each other in.
I
But she had a
probably know.
party there, which I
Okay.
couldn't make. But that's
Oh.
where I heard about Lucky. I think maybe I've been there one time. So if people want to find out more about you? And when you're performing, what do they do?
I mean, we post a lot on Facebook, the Ruminators official.
Okay, ruminate. Okay, that's it. That's what I was digging for. There you go. I knew I would get it out. There we go. Thank you, Cameron. I love Cameron Cole. He's the best producer.
Wow,
Thank you,
amazing.
Cameron. Let me see. I need to put my glasses on for this one. Okay, there we go. Official Facebook, Linktree, Ruminators with Patty Rothberg.
Right, it's Ruminators with Patty Rothberg, and then also a Linktree, Ruminators with Patty Rothberg.
Okay, and Ruminators official, of course, on Facebook. I think we were discussing that we all like Facebook. I get work from Facebook. Real people get in touch with me.
Mhm.
I don't know what it is about Instagram. I have more followers, and yet the things I get on there are like somebody, hey, how'd you like to make $1 million? You know those. How'd you like to make $1 million? So yes, we do support Facebook here. And my God, we have we have Danielle. I'm not saying the name right.
Denial?
Denial.
Or maybe denial.
Okay. Muslim lesbian.
Please support Muslims. We certainly support
Thank you.
Muslims.
Absolutely. Magic Smith. Hey, Wendy. Hey, Magic Smith. I love when I see new names that I don't recognize. And Mr. Harv so that's my wonderful friend Suze, who's an incredible designer.
Oh,
and she's
cool.
based out of Boston. And she had Chihuahuas. Now she has a, Chinese crested and another dog, and she's going to tell us. I know she's going to fill me in here. And Suze, yes. And thank you to everyone who tuned in. We have more people also that tuned in on my what is that?
It's not Instagram, that's for sure.
Okay, sounds like YouTube.
YouTube.
Wendy Stuart
okay.
TV on YouTube. Yes, sounds like.
I wonder what it was going to sound like.
I know. Well, what we knew we would find the words eventually,
That's right.
Because it's all about words for all of us. Are you all doing a new album soon?
Yeah, we have a few songs that we're in the middle of an EP. So we have like almost 3 songs ready to be recorded,
And we're in the middle of writing one right now.
Yeah.
You are, even as we speak.
As we speak.
How long does it take you to write a song?
it pretty quickly, actually. It depends. Like sometimes we may barrel through it really quickly and then sort of put it aside for like the next. We practice regularly, so we may wait till the next time we practice and then we'll finish it.
Like sometimes Jill will come up with an amazing title or a riff, doesn't matter what it is, and I'll be like, get the phone and write this down.
Write this down.
Do
Yeah.
do
it.
We
Right.
can do this. This is really
Right.
funny, or this is great.
Right.
And that's a lot of times we write piecemeal.
Well, yeah, I would imagine, but
So we're writing about vampires right now.
it's Halloween, of course.
Well, yes, but that's not why. My little kitty bit me. My adorable, wonderful.
Okay,
cat.
but wait, I'm not making the connection here.
Because it's like he's drawing blood.
okay, it's the
and
blood.
the thing that's how it started, but it's not only about that.
But
It's
right.
about people that suck your time.
right.
That's really what. and
Well,
it's
let's
funny
talk
because
about
I got rid of one of them.
emotional vampires.
Emotional vampires.
Exactly.
Emotional vampires.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So
that's,
we're like in the middle of that.
are you in?
Yeah, it's good.
So
I feel
so
good
I'm having
about
an epiphany right now because 2 weeks ago I was singing that Britney Spears song, "Everyone Wants a Piece of Me." It seemed anything I was getting called for was to do like something for somebody for free. Now I'm majorly involved with fundraising for the things that I'm into. Freely give of my performing time with that, absolutely. But when random people start calling you that you don't know and wanting something from you, Jesus, and it was happening a lot. So I had to put that psychic pink bubble around me. I don't know if you all do that, but it's a pink
I
bubble.
never did a pink one.
Right.
Maybe I should try that.
Well, they can't penetrate it is the
Oh.
point. And the emotional vampire thing is something as an artist you really need to watch out for because it really interferes with your creativity.
Yep.
Yeah. So so you're experiencing that. So what are you doing to stop it?
I just got fired from a band, so now I have more time for other bands that are better for me.
So Wendy is going to tell you exactly symbolically what that means. You just opened your door. Okay. Now you got fired, or you could have
Right, or you could call it.
turn around. And so my thing is now I just say no. Nancy Reagan, just say no. I don't ever
remember
remember
Nancy.
that. Right. I just say no. No, I can't do your project. it's not, I don't think it would be right for me at this point. That was a biggie for me because I took everything that came down the pike.
I'm like that.
I know, because we don't know when the next thing's coming, but you know what? You saw that door closed, but other doors will open that will be more in your realm and will be positive.
Right. It
things.
shouldn't be painful to do something or so difficult that it's like you would need a robot to do it, or
Right.
you're not sure how this is ever going to work or whatever it is.
Wait,
It
but
should
the
make
minute,
sense.
right? But the minute you're experiencing all of that, that's your red flag. So how do we? God, now okay. We're going to have a new show
The
with
red
3
flag
women
pink
that are
bubbles.
going to talk about the psychology of all of this. You know, how do we recognize those red flags and how do we act on them?
Or like a series, The Vampires or something.
Right, the vampires.
Vampires.
Right, the
Vampire
vampires.
Sunday.
Vampire bubblegum.
I love that. She thought of the name of a new music group.
Yeah.
And on that
Vampires.
note,
I like that.
I like
the
the vampires.
vampires.
Right.
I like it too.
I
I'm
mean,
sure there's
there's
a
probably
million.
one-
Yeah, that one might be taken. Vampire bubblegum.
But that's
is-
not taken.
Vampire bubblegum. That's
Yeah.
interesting.
And no one wants it, so we can have it.
Nobody wants it. We don't know. We didn't run the poll, but we can have it. The vampire bubblegum.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
We're the Vampire Bubblegum
You,
Society.
you all were like so very cool today. So
I love
I want to thank you so much for being here. I'm
Thank
going to
you.
do this
Having
weird
us.
thing that I do.
Oh.
So Tim, my co-host, is electronically inclined, and he knows how to take the picture with the computer, which I
Okay.
don't know how to do. But I have this other thing I do. I like taking the picture from the computer.
Oh,
So if
oh,
we
great.
so we'll all be like looking in the. It's like hokey, right? But we like it. So cheese.
Cheese.
Great.
Excellent.
I love doing that. Because
love
I'm
it.
dorky.
No,
Um,
wonderful.
You all were fabulous guests.
Thank
It was
you.
great. I
And
loved it.
you have to let me know your next dates when you're going to be, because I do come and
Absolutely.
support people.
That would be great.
Yeah, I'm out a lot, and Mama sure does like her cocktails.
Ah,
Thank you, everybody, for tuning in today. Remember, if you have friends in Florida, in North Carolina, or whatever, you know what? Pick up the phone when you can, check in on them, text them in case they all are losing power. But be aware of what's happening out there. It's
Oh my God,
it's really
yeah.
important. At
I
the end
saw
of the
that
day,
footage.
we all have to take care of each other. That's what it's about. Goodbye, everybody.
bye.